It's Clark and Perry on the case. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry do what it takes. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another installment of the Windy City's finest. I'm Perry, he's Clark, and we are joined once again by the lovely Dawn Olson. Thank you so much for being here again with us and for inviting us into this really cool space. First things first, we just want to touch base on some of your work. And I gotta say, I think this is probably one of my favorites out of the bunch here. I just love, how do you do this? Like the little details.
Yeah, so I actually made my own stamp, a little hexagon stamp, and then each one is stamped individually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a thrown piece, and then I pressed it with my thumb so that it was a comfortable.
Yeah, it's very ergonomic.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I call them whiskey and wine cups.
Oh, whiskey and wine cups. I love it. And so, like, how soon after kind of making this would you have to do these kind of imprints?
So what we build today, I'll have to come back sometime between tomorrow and Tuesday at the latest to do what's called trimming, and that's when we take the excess weight off the bottom and put a little bit of a foot onto it and stuff, and then do the stamping in any kind of a design. Like, so this swirl is embedded in, and so at the trimming stage I trimmed, I put my name on it, I put the handle on, and I used a little tool to give that design. Yeah.
Wow. And then I understand that this is kind of a signature thing for you.
Yes, this is my birch design I was talking about last time. And so you can see the foot a little bit easier on this. So I made it an inlaid foot, and then the drain hole for it's a plant pot.
Yeah.
And then the foot on the bottom of this guy too.
Nice.
So yeah. These ones I just started doing. They're kind of fun. I made a tool out of a credit card and to make these kind of zigzags. So there's a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Look at that. Nice. Yeah. Cool. And then we have some smaller pieces over here, which are delightful.
We have a a window display going on. It's 4x4, so everything has to be under 4 inches by 4 inches. So I hand build these little vases and little flowers, and then put them all together. That's my contribution.
Yeah, and so you made the flowers as well?
I did, yes.
Are they made of clay?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So pretty much the whole thing, except for like the wire.
Yeah, except for the wire.
Wow. Cool. And how long would something like this take?
Oh, it depends on how skilled you are, but those took me like 5 minutes essentially.
5 minutes, yeah. But the detail.
Yeah,
is
so I rolled them onto what do I call it? Like a stamp type thing. Yeah. So, and this one is actually a rolling pin that we have that has all these little squares on it. So you just like one swipe with a rolling pin and you have all those little imprints. Imprints. So I can show you that later too if you want.
Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Should we move these? These look pretty fragile when we move on to the next thing, the prep.
Yeah, we'll move these little guys, but I did want to show this too.
Yes, yeah.
And it looks really boring. But the reason is because, so this is a bowl that I threw, trimmed, and then I put it through the kiln on a bisque load. So the bisque goes to 1828 degrees. Oh, wow. And so then it becomes vitrified. So it's, it's still breakable, but it's at the point where I can really handle it. And then today I would dip it in a glaze and then put it in for the second firing, which goes up to a higher temperature. Oh, yeah. And then that's when I can do shiny and colors and like all of that kind of stuff. Right. So all pieces have this middle section.
Kind of look like that. Yeah. Kind of the in-between stage, it seems like. Yeah.
Exactly. So you'll see the fresh clay is like Play-Doh, and then eventually it gets into this, and then onward we go.
Right on. And I remember you mentioning something about the heat when it goes into the kiln, and like, does it shrink at all? Or,
yeah, definitely. So what we make today, you're going to be like, oh, look, I made this big thing. And then it will be like, oh, here you go, Dan. Here's your piece that you made.
And so these would have gone into the kiln as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Would it? So were they bigger than this when they went in?
Well, a little bit,
A
yeah.
little bit?
So things shrink like approximately 10%.
Okay.
So if that's 10 centimeters high, it started out as 11 or whatever.
Mhm. Right on.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So we can get these out of the way
Oh yeah,
here.
I'll put
and
them
then-
over on the in the to be put on the shelf
For sure.
spot.
Hmm. And I'm noticing, like, there's a lot of pottery in here that people have worked on, and I'm just curious, is there any like battles for like where to keep your stuff?
Oh my
or
gosh,
just-
it's interesting you say that because our club has grown exponentially in the past
right.
3 years,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so we are at a premium for space.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't look so bad right now because it's summer and a lot of
Mhm.
people sort of aren't in here as often.
Yeah.
But like the lead up to Christmas, it's like Jenga to try to get your piece
Try to
into
get your
a
pieces
storage
everywhere.
area
Right.
and also to try to get it into the kiln.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Is there one kiln or two? Or...
we have 3 electric kilns and a
Mm.
gas kiln.
And a
And
gas
so
kiln.
the 3 electric kilns are a little bit easier because it's kind of like a dishwasher. Like you load
Mm.
it
Yeah.
and then you set it and then you come back 24 hours later and you can unload it
Oh,
or
cool.
or 48 hours if it's a glaze load.
Mhm.
But the gas kiln is like 8 hours of being here,
Oh.
adjusting the temperature and watching the fire and stuff.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, there's always something to learn, that's for sure.
And speaking of learning, what is
You
our
ready?
next step? Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna go on the wheel.
Okay.
And so what I did was I just got us some clay.
Mhm.
This is just, it's like 1.5 pounds of clay.
Okay.
And so we're gonna do some prep work to get it ready for us to throw it on the wheel.
Okay.
So what happens is when the clay comes out of the box, it makes sense that the outside edges are a little bit drier than the middle of it,
Okay.
right? Like,
yeah.
and so what we want to do is we want to even out the moisture content of the clay,
Mhm.
and we want to like make the particles all line up and stuff. And so we do what's called wedging.
Wedging. Okay.
And wedging actually looks relatively simple, but it's quite hard
Okay.
because it's like kneading bread,
okay. Okay.
except when you knead bread, you're trying to add air in because you want the bread to
Oh,
rise.
Right.
And when we're wedging, we want to take all the air pockets out.
Interesting.
And so it takes a lot of practice. And I
Mhm.
find like the first 2 steps of being on the wheel are the hardest.
right.
It's like one of those things that once you get past steps 1 and 2, then you can make some progress, but
The first two
takes-
steps.
it takes a bit of practice.
Right on. Well,
So-
we'll see how we do.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to get set up like you want to one foot in front of the other,
Okay.
so that because you're going to use your whole body
Right,
weight in this
right.
kind of a motion.
Okay. Sounds good.
And so the way that I wedge, I think they call it like a ram's head. So I'm going to have
Hmm.
my hands on either side of my ball of clay like this,
Mhm.
and I'm going to use my body weight to press it forward. And then you can see that it kind of maybe would be like be an animal
Okay.
kind of a
yeah.
shape.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take my fingers underneath
Underneath.
and I'm going to bring it back on itself and press it
Okay.
again.
And then you just kind of press it with your palms. It
Yeah.
seems like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Good. Yeah. It's
Okay.
like a little envelope
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of.
yeah.
And then I'm going to keep doing that over and over and over again to try to even out the moisture content. Yeah. So what I can see from what you're doing
Yeah.
is you're putting in like 100% effort
Yeah.
minus like take 30% out and
Take
make it so
30%
that you're
out.
just
Yeah. I have a question. When you're bringing it back over, does it
Yeah.
have to come like all the way?
no,
Okay.
it doesn't have to come all the way. It just comes a little ways so that we're basically, you can see how many times I've wedged is like
Hey.
a tree trunk almost,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Hmm.
bringing it over and down and over and down and over and down and over and down.
down and over and down and over and down.
Yeah, and you get
over
into
and
kind of a
down.
rhythm of it,
I'm at
but
the edge of the table. Okay. Oh, I can kind of see it. You can
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
see
yeah,
it
there you
here.
go.
Like you can kind of see some of those layers.
yeah, and yours
creeping
looks
in
like
there.
an animal, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Hello.
Yeah.
Sweet.
so you want to do that. Like people have different methods, but there are members of our club that say you have to wedge piece 40 times before
Okay.
it's ready for throwing.
Oh, I've lost count
So,
already.
yeah.
I don't know. Is it kind of just measure with your heart kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm a
or-
little bit like, it depends for me too. Like if it's clay that came straight out of the box and I just bought the box yesterday, I might cheat a little bit.
Right.
And if it's clay that, you know, is recycled or like older, then I might go a little bit harder, right?
A little harder, okay, yeah.
So when you're ready, when you feel your heart tells you that your piece is ready,
Oh, God.
then
I don't know whether to trust my heart. I don't know what I do.
then what you're gonna do, so watch me here.
Okay.
So I've got my animal shape thing, and I'm just gonna pull it back on itself and go back, and then I just do a little squish down, back, squish down, back, squish down, back, squish down, and then turn it on its side so that it becomes like a little mountain.
Squish down, back, squish down.
Yeah, just join it all together. Yeah.
Kind of like that?
Yeah, and then put it on its side. Good, and then pat it down to make it into a nice little uniform shape.
Uniform shape.
Yeah. One of our beginners one time had this piece that was like, it had like a big lump on the side. And I said, you're making it so much harder on yourself because you're starting out with an uneven piece.
With an uneven
right?
piece.
If it starts
okay.
out a little bit even, then you can get it centered on the wheel a little easier.
Okay. Yeah. So you want to start symmetrically so that you can kind of build symmetrically. It's kind of what I'm hearing.
You got it.
Okay. Is this symmetrical enough?
That looks good.
Okay,
yes.
Sounds good. Cool.
Yeah.
We're just prepping ourselves a little backup in case I have an epic fail. And
we didn't say it like that, did we?
No, not at all. No. We have a happy accident, and then we can just kind of jump back into it.
So we'll put how about we put your first one in here so that your one that is all warm and ready to go is the one that we're going to take out to the wheel.
For sure.
Yeah.
So this one we're taking
Splatter in there, yeah. So you'll notice that I'm covering the clay.
Yes.
And that's because if it's sitting left in the air, then it's going to get drier on the outside than the inside. And so then we would have to wedge it again.
You'd have to wedge it again. Okay.
And so I might as well just make it easier on us and have it covered up so that it's going to be just ready for us to work with.
And so how much clay would you say you have at any one point? Like, do you buy clay and then you try and use it right away, or do you have to store it?
It lasts for a long time.
Yeah.
So I usually have a couple of different kinds of clay on the go. So a couple different boxes. There's like light body clay and then more red kind of clay and stuff. And so I have a few things on the go. Because we have it held in plastic, we can use it 6 months, a year, that kind of thing. If you left it out, then it would be like in 3 days you can't use it anymore.
Wow. Yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
Ready?
I think so.
Okay, then we're going to head out to where we have our wheels set up. And then we're actually going to set up the wheels first before we start doing stuff with this.
Gonna set up the wheels first. Okay,
Yeah.
you go first.
Okay.
I shall follow. We have our somewhat symmetrical cones here. We're gonna join us in the lovely outside. How often do you ever like throw out here, or is this kind of a novelty thing?
This is a new thing for me.
A new thing. Okay.
Yeah. So I adjusted your stools to be a little higher than mine because you're a little taller than me.
For sure.
And I don't know if you can feel, but it has a little bit of a downward tilt to it.
Downward tilt.
I have the back pegs a little bit taller than the front pegs.
Okay.
And that's, so remember how I'm an OT?
Yes.
And so I'm all about ergonomics and body mechanics and stuff.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is throwing can be hard on our back. And so if we have our seat so that it's tilted forward, what that does is it gives us a forward pelvic tilt.
For sure.
So we're not slumped down like this. It automatically gives us a little bit more upright.
Awesome. So your work is coming in handy.
Exactly. Yeah, I did a workshop for our club on this.
Awesome.
Yeah. So then you're going to get your pedal.
Okay.
Are you right-handed?
I am right-handed.
Okay.
Yes.
So you want your pedal to be like how you would, like a comfortable position for driving, right? And then these bricks are important from an ergonomic perspective too.
Oh, okay.
And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the brick and you're going to put it underneath your left foot in the same kind of a position.
Okay.
Because if you don't have your left foot stabilized, then you'll always be doing a little bit of
off balance.
Yeah, so that just helps us to be nice and steady and centered.
Awesome, cool. And I have one more step. I gotta set this up. So this is a tray, basically.
Yeah, a splash guard.
A splash guard. Okay, nice. And yeah, so we're gonna be. I assume clay is gonna fall down the side here.
Yeah, and like on you.
Yes, that on me.
All of
Yes.
that
Can't wait.
Yes.
Got a lovely teal Apron.
So pick up
Awesome.
your piece.
Okay.
And then turn on your wheel. So you're just going to turn your switch. We didn't actually test this, so hopefully they work
Okay.
out here. So you can practice your driving.
Whoa. I'm driving, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you can feel that if you just push a little, it goes slow. And if you push faster, it goes fast. Right?
Yeah.
You've got total control over.
Yeah.
So kind of get the feel of that.
And it's like a constant thing. Like, yeah.
Now,
You
if
kind of
you,
find your spot and then you keep it there and then you can
I'm-
adjust it.
I'm always adjusting, but there are some potters that will like set the pedal and then take their foot off. But I
Oh.
think that's insane.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Because for me, there are certain times that I need it to be going fast,
Yeah.
and there are certain times that I want the control of it going slow.
Slower.
And
Yeah.
so I'm always adjusting,
Sounds good.
but
yeah.
I'm a different thrower than other people, right? So
For sure.
yeah. Okay. So another kind of thing. So if you were left-handed,
Yeah.
you would have the wheel going clockwise.
Okay.
But we have the wheel going counterclockwise
Because
because
we're
we're
right-handed.
right-handed.
Sounds good.
So we're always going to be working on the right side of the piece.
Okay.
Yeah, if we were left-handed, we would be working on the left side of the piece, but okay, stop your wheel.
Oh. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our cone of clay
Mhm.
and we're going to smash it as close to the center as possible.
Smash it as close to the center
Yeah,
as
good.
possible.
That looks
Okay.
great. Okay. So remember how I said steps 1 and 2 are the hardest?
Yes.
So we got through 1
Got through one.
and now we're on 2.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get the piece of clay to be totally centered.
Okay.
We want it to be so that if I have my hands on the piece and I close my eyes, my hands aren't wobbling around at all. Like you
Mm,
can see them already, like, you know, they're
Yeah.
going around.
Yeah.
And once I have it centered, my hands are going to be just like, it's going to look like the wheel isn't even turning.
Right. Right.
And this is hard, but once you get it, it becomes like, it's like a click. Oh, I
Mm.
can feel it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those things that you can't really just be like, good enough.
Okay.
Because if you just say, good enough, then your piece is never going to be centered. It's going to be taller on one, like it's going to be a wonky piece
Right.
because it's not centered. So
Right.
as it's turning, there's going to be one part of it that's going like,
off. Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Sounds good.
So centering requires a ton of water
Okay.
and a lot of speed because we're using the centrifugal force of the wheel to help us to be able to get the clay in the middle.
Okay.
Okay. So body positioning wise, we're going to be forward
Okay.
and we're going to have our elbows trying to brace onto something that isn't moving. So
Okay.
I like to have my left elbow on my thigh and my right elbow is kind of more tucked into my rib cage, but
Okay.
like everyone finds their way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're going to have really wet hands and really wet clay. Like,
Okay.
and you'll be like entering back into the well for more.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Anytime that you start to feel the clay getting sticky on your hands,
Yeah.
more water.
Anytime I feel the clay getting sticky in my hands, more water. Remind me.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Okay. Now, this is going to see, you're going to be like, why is she so picky? But
No.
I'm never going to touch the clay unless the wheel is turning.
Okay.
And I'm never going to take I'm never going to stop the wheel turning with my hands on it.
On it. Okay.
Because I'm going to take my hands off and then stop the wheel.
Okay.
So it's like the clay is doing its thing. I'm going to enter it and I'm going to leave it while it's going.
Okay.
And that's because if I stop the wheel with my hands on, then I could be knocking it off center.
Right.
Like, so I'm
And
letting
all
the
the
wheel do all the work.
energy you just put into centering it could be, yeah.
You got it.
done.
Okay, so I got wet hands and wet clay.
Okay.
So the way that I center
Yeah.
is I use my left hand, like this section of my left hand,
Yeah.
kind of like a lathe, like, you know, a lathe for wood.
I don't, but
Oh.
I'm good with it.
Okay,
Yeah, let's
so
do it.
it's like a piece of wood that, like, you know, slides along to make it so that it's totally level and even.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so this is going to be staying, not moving. So my elbow is stuck to my side and I'm
Right.
trying to make sure that it's not moving. So
Yeah.
you can see that it is moving, but I'm
Yeah.
going to try hard to make it not.
Yeah.
Now, the more that I press on it, you can already see it getting taller, right? like my piece,
Yeah, you can kind of see your hand against it. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure,
because I'm using my lathe.
yeah.
So my right hand with water on it is going to be like a plunger. It's going to press it back down and then start to pull it, you know, like a plunge and down kind of a shape.
Plunging down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the biggest thing is your left hand, that you're just not letting that clay escape anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the right hand comes.
Okay, should
down.
I'm gonna start.
You're gonna start, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start off nice and slow.
Oh no, you want it to be
You
going
want
fast
it to go pretty fast for
because
him?
you want the centrifugal force of the wheel to be helping you.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is terrifying. Okay, but I'm trying to keep my. You can see it moving.
Yeah.
But I'm using, what's it called? A loop?
A lathe.
Lathe. Okay.
Yeah, there
And
you go.
then-
Okay, then you're gonna plunge it down.
I'm gonna plunge it down,
Good.
and oh yeah. Okay.
So instead of going forward, try going down and cupping toward you.
And cupping towards me.
Yeah.
Okay, keep my hands wet.
Yeah, hands wet, clay wet.
Oh, and don't touch it until
Oh, it's all good.
it's moving.
This is gonna take a little while, like
yeah.
so. It's
Okay, so here you want it pretty fast.
yeah,
We're going down and cup it.
yeah. Okay, now slow your right hand movement so it's more like down, 2, 3, cupping. 2, 3.
Okay.
And your wheel is faster.
And wheel is faster.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so it's moving.
Yeah.
We apply pressure. We put our left hand on.
Yeah.
We need a bit more speed, it seems like.
Yeah.
And then right
Down,
hand.
2,
2,
3.
3, and
Yeah,
cup
good.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you ever feel like, am I on center? You can put your hands on it, close your eyes, and if you feel any lumps and bumps, then you know that you're not on center.
I am not on center.
Yeah, and I'm
whatsoever.
not either. Like you
Okay,
can
okay.
even see that my hands
Yeah,
are
yeah.
wiggling.
Okay.
So when I'm centering, it takes me usually 5 or 6 times of doing that. It's not a one and done. So
Right.
it takes a little bit of time. And for a beginner, it often takes way more time than
You
that.
can see my hands, eh?
Yeah.
Hopefully people at home. And this is getting dry. I can feel it dragging on my hands quite a bit.
Look at him learning so
Yeah.
fast.
And then we want it to spin. And then we're gonna use our left hand. We don't want it to move. We're gonna
I like
put-
how you're talking through it. That's
Yeah.
good. So I can see that the clay
Yeah.
is driving your left hand.
Okay. You
I
can
want
see
your
it?
left hand to be in control. It's
Okay.
in charge
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
Now, when I first started, I used to get a sore on the side of my
Oh,
hand
no.
because I was like, "Grr,"
Yeah.
pressing down. But it actually, you don't need to be pressing down so much as guiding the clay into the center, right?
Guiding
So
the clay into the center. Okay.
yeah. So anyway, if you start to feel sore, then relax on the down.
Okay. So not just down, but you want to guide it in.
Yeah. Get your speed up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, already better with the left.
Yeah.
Keep your speed going high.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Whoa.
Men have an advantage of larger hands.
Oh, larger hands.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Okay, and I can feel
Nice.
it getting kind of dry. Okay.
Okay, check your just to see how close you are.
Oh yeah.
You can close your eyes and you're pretty close. Like I can see your fingers wiggling or your hands wiggling a little bit.
Yeah.
But you're
But
not-
it's way better than it was
yeah.
for sure. Like,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
Okay, so get that left hand in charge again.
Okay.
Get the wheel going.
Speed.
Good. And then the down and cup it. Oh, yeah.
Still moving a bit.
Yeah, so get that left arm in charge. Like you're letting it move. That's better. Already better. Nice.
Yeah, it takes like a lot of focus.
Yeah, and a lot of force actually too. Like I remember the first time I was like, oh my gosh, my mom's arms are so strong.
Yeah.
It's close
But
though.
yeah, and it just what you're saying about like this is like the second step that is really hard. And
Yes.
But it should pay off, right? Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, I
okay.
mean, the other steps aren't easy, but like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're not as hard.
Okay, left arm in charge. You want to speed up.
That's
Left arm
pretty
in
good, Dan.
charge.
Yeah.
And pushing down and cup and 1, 2, 3.
Are you there?
I don't know. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so put
Okay.
wet hands,
Wet hands,
wet clay.
wet clay.
Just lightly cup the clay. Close your eyes. Do you feel anything wobbling?
Honestly, like maybe like a tiny bit, but
Can I feel it?
yeah,
Okay,
please.
let's switch sides.
Okay.
So you feel mine and I'll feel yours.
Oh, I don't want to mess up yours.
No, but you're not. You're just
Okay.
gonna touch it lightly.
I'm just gonna
and-
touch it lightly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So yours is centered completely on the sides.
Okay.
It's just this top bit that you
Okay.
can kind of see is lower here
Yeah.
and higher here.
Oh, and is that from the pushing down?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But I'll show you a way to get that. But
Okay.
your sides are perfect. You did
Okay,
it.
nice.
Like way faster than a typical beginner.
Oh my gosh.
Play 5.
Play 5.
Splat.
Wow.
Okay, so what you're going to do to get that top part sorted is wet hands, wet clay.
Wet
You're gonna-
hands, wet clay.
You're going to have your left hand on the side, just making sure that it's not going off center.
Okay.
And then you're going to use the side of your right hand like a little bit of a tomahawk, just coming straight down.
Straight down. And you just do that for a bit? Oh, I see your top getting kind of flat there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you want the speed somewhat up, it looks like?
Medium
Medium.
speed. So the left is just making sure that it's not getting knocked off center.
Okay. And then we
You're
got
going to do
our...
your little karate chop. And it's like a slow motion, like
Yeah.
you're being nice and gentle with it. Yeah.
I can feel it going like side to side.
Yeah. So make it go straight down in a nice, even way.
Okay.
Holy, he's doing it. Hey, you're a natural.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so does it feel like it's still wobbling along?
A little bit. It looks kind of dry too.
Okay, put your hands on the sides, drive, medium, and close your eyes.
A little bit, I think. And mine looks like I was maybe doing a weird angle. It's like doesn't look quite flat.
Oh yeah, and
as
that's
flat.
okay.
Okay.
We're gonna deal with that later.
Okay.
But okay, can I feel it again?
Yes, please do. Yeah. I know this is one of the steps we
You
want to
can't
try to get.
skip
so.
out on this
Yeah,
step.
yeah.
This is. Oh yeah, I get what you're saying. There's just a little bit, hey?
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost like you just need to tomahawk it. I mean, I'm not helping or anything. Just...
Oh, good.
Okay, feel that.
Okay.
Do your eyes closed trick.
Okay. Store it.
Does it feel okay?
Yeah.
Any wobbles at all?
I'm terrible for being hard on myself, so like I would probably say yes, but
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. If you're
Okay, yeah.
if you're nervous that there's a tiny bit, what you'll do is put your left hand on the side, and your right index finger is just going to be like a little Zamboni on the side to
Oh, okay.
scrape off any little minuscule tiny lump of clay, because it's feels pretty centered to me.
Yes.
I mean, not
No.
pretty. Like I said, this is something you can't cheat on. It feels good to me. The bulk of it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want
Should
to
I
do the little Zamboni? Yeah,
I'll
do the
do it.
Zamboni.
So you have your left side. Oh,
The left side is always just there for making sure that you're not doing anything crazy.
right. And then just Zamboni.
Yeah.
It's like this. How do you know when to stop?
Well, when it feels even.
Oh. It's always so simple. Yeah.
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 Okay. Now feel it again with your eyes
Feel it
closed.
again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have like very little experience. So from what, my experience, I would say it seems
centered. It seems centered to me too.
Okay,
Okay.
sweet.
Can I make one more picky thing from an ergonomic perspective?
Absolutely.
When you were Zamboniing, you had your fingers straight out on its own,
Yeah.
and that doesn't give very much support. So
Right.
it's a little bit better for your whole hand,
Yes.
like from an arthritis and stuff perspective,
Yeah.
if you have some support from the rest of your fingers
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's not an island all on its own.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. I'm just like picking up things from like OT and stuff because
Yeah.
it's always interested me. And I know that when you're splinting fingers, you can't splint it by itself because that's super flimsy. So you
That's
always
right.
want to splint it with an arm, right? And it just what you're saying there reminds me of that. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's Clark and Perry on the case. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry. Do what it takes. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry. Investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.